in its history, and I'm honored to represent them right now, dedicated to a brighter future for our city. A future that we all get to choose on Tuesday and then build together. Our warrior for justice, Attorney General Tish James, Congresswoman Nydia Velasquez is in the house. York Working Familes Party, a loud round of applause. My sisters on the City Council, Crystal Hudson, Rita Joseph, Sandy Mears, our mayoral candidates, and all of you. Please give yourselves a round of applause as well. And let's hear it for our great state legislators who are on this stage here tonight as well. So, we gather here with 48 hours left before polls close on the most consequential mayoral primary of our lifetime.
Right.
This is not politics as usual.
No, it's not.
This is a last stand against a man whose record reeks like a rap sheet of cruelty, displacement, and catastrophe.
Woo. Come on.
A man who hasn't lived here since before I was born. When Andrew Cuomo took office in 2011, he promised affordability. Instead, he slashed Medicaid, leaving low-income New Yorkers to choose. We don't do that. He slashed Medicaid, leaving low-income New Yorkers to choose between food and health care. Rents jumped by more than 50%.
Shame.
Families spent their paychecks each month on housing, barely scraping by.
Boo.
And when the rent became impossible, the shelter doors swung open. Homelessness soared by well over 40% during his decade in office. That was the worst. That was the worst since the Great Depression. All because of the governor of the Empire State, governor like the slumlord-in-chief.
Whoa.
His campaign coffers overflowed with real estate cash and pay-to-play checks from his own appointees. Millions in direct donations and super PAC spending from the people he was supposed to regulate. Now the same people are picking up his tab. Then came the pandemic, and Cuomo's failures became funerals. He forced COVID-positive patients back into nursing homes and hid the resulting deaths of those with COVID. A cover-up, Attorney General James herself exposed. Black New Yorkers paid the steepest price. We buried our mothers, fathers, and neighbors at twice the rate of our white counterparts. A worse disparity than any other large state in America.
Right.
Andrew Cuomo did this to us because he does not care about us.
No, he doesn't.
And let's remember the character behind the curtain. The 13 women he sexually harassed in office. The $60 billion of our tax dollars he spent on his legal defense fund. In the moment on live radio when he casually dropped the ugliest word in our language, a hard R slur invented by slavers to shackle us in shame. But a week after the 160th Juneteenth, we refused to submit to that bigotry. Now they're free. These are not footnotes. They are windows into a politics that treats dignity as disposable. Windows into the soul of a man who we must defeat on Tuesday.
Yes.
Friends, New York can't become a playground for the rich and a museum of broken promises for the rest of us. We are the architects of a brighter future, and tonight the blueprint is on this stage. Adrian Adams, Zoran Mamdani, universal child care, and they will most importantly work with you. While a disgraced creep from Westchester tries to use our city for his vengeful comeback, these candidates love our city enough to devote their lives to it and Tonight you'll hear from the slate committed to building the unfinished project called New York City to ever greater heights. We are the inheritors of a great legacy. We have an opportunity and an obligation to perfect it for ourselves and generations to come. And make no mistake, the eyes of America are on us.
Yes.
They want to know if the greatest city on earth will cling to the politics of the past or step boldly into the politics of possibility. They want to see if we will accept the status quo that lets black folks build excellence from nothing than be priced out of town or out of our cultural and economic miracle. Or if we can elect leaders who empower us to stay in our city and keep building.
Like so right!
America needs to know, in the first major election of the Trump administration, if we will willingly hand ourselves to MAGA's biggest donors,
No!
or if we will reject them.
Yeah!
New York, let's show the nation who we are.
Yes!
This Tuesday, it's up to us. The ballot contains a choice. Past or future, greed or community, bigotry or solidarity.
Yeah!
People hold nostalgia for the past because they remember our history of greatness. But what made us great was always being at the forefront of progress. Let's not be dragged back to the worst of our past.
Yeah.
Let's carry the best of it forward. So whether you're New York's native son or this is your promised land, our city is of you, by you, and for you. We will not be the pawn of a vengeful comeback for a man who
Yes!
saved the city decades ago. On Tuesday, we break the slate, leave Cuomo in the past, and march boldly toward the brighter future of our city. We will And now, at the great honor of introducing Maurice Mitchell to the center of the stage. Thank you, New York.
That's a fight! Oh, it's my life! I had
When I say WF, you say P. WF. P. WF. P. When I say who's that, you say we. Who's that? We. Who's that? We. WF. P. WF. P. What's up, New York? If you love New York City, let me hear you. If you love Brooklyn, let me hear you. If you love Town Heights, let me hear you, New York. My name is Maurice Mitchell. I'm the National Director of the Working Familes Party. It's a true honor to be with you. The WFP is a grassroots, people-led political party that believes in the crazy idea that in a democracy, the people should govern.
Yeah.
Not corporations,
Woo!
not billionaires, but the people. I want to acknowledge Equality for Flatbush, which was the organization that was protesting outside. Because this community means a lot to me. I spent many years living in this community. I got cousins who grew up in this community. My favorite double spot is in this community. And this historic community is also a community that is facing gentrification,
Yes.
displacement,
Yes.
mass policing.
Yes.
That's why we're building a movement for change.
Yes.
That's why this campaign is so powerful. Because we have an opportunity to begin to right the wrongs of decades. I also want to acknowledge the fact that today's rally is hosted by none other than Attorney General Tish James. Who started her career here in Brooklyn as an independent WFP only candidate.
Wow!
Because the political establishment didn't know what to do with the free black woman. The Working Familes Party did.
Yes!
And since those days, she's been a source of light in the darkness.
Yes!
And she's been a source of light in the darkness of the Trump era. And she's held accountable Felon 47.
Yes!
And the reason I could call him that is because she was able to do what few has been able to do. The reason why we know of him because of his felonies is the fact that in New York, we actually believe that nobody is above the law. So thank you, Attorney General. I also want to shout out because all elected officials are not made the same.
That's right.
So there are some elected officials in this building I want to shout out. I want to shout out Assembly Member Farrah Supran Forrest, Assembly Member Monique Chandler Waterman, Assembly Member Marcella Mitaines, State Senator Jabari Bridgeport, former council member Jimmy Van Bramer's in the building. State Senator Gustavo Rivera is in the building. Council member Alexa Avila is in the building. And Assembly member Khalid Anderson is in the building. These are working families representatives. We see you, we appreciate you. So, last election, America's billionaires, including the world's richest individual, threw their riches behind Trump and MAGA. In doing, they were sealing an unholy alliance between corporate America, the MAGA haters that want to not just take us back to the 1950s, but the 1850s. And this brood of tech bros, these techno-fascists that dream of a CEO king. They defeated a Democratic Party that included too many that too often have forgotten the assignment.
That's right. Call
Am I
it out,
lying?
call it out.
A Democratic Party that wasn't paying attention when people of all races, ethnicities, and communities said the rent was too damn high.
That's right.
What? The rent was
Too damn high.
the price of childcare was too expensive. The cost of food, too much.
Yeah.
And over the past few months, we've witnessed how the MAGA forces, backed by those billionaires, have attempted to run their extreme radical Project 2025 playbook, haven't we?
Oh, yeah.
Attempting, I say attempting, because they can never erase black history. Inflicting cruelty and indignity upon some of the people who are most at risk, trans children.
Yeah.
Flooding our streets with mass federal agents from unknown agencies to kidnap people from our streets and our communities. Criminalizing ideas they don't like. Arresting elected officials that oppose them. Creating the environment of political violence, including now, to our horror, political assassinations. And in response, the people didn't wait for any politician. The people didn't wait for permission. And although fear is a natural emotion and response in the face of all these attacks, the people chose courage. The people rose up in the millions to fight for our rights. In fact, just recently, The people led the largest one day of mass mobilizations in our country's history. Because if we've learned anything from history, is that fascists, haters, those that want to take our rights, the only thing they understand is a fight.
Yeah.
Now, our broad pro-democracy movement that includes the Working Familes Party and, on a good day, the Democratic Party. That coalition is asking, what direction must we go to defeat the billionaires and earn the trust that has been lost of the working class? Now, there are some that say, with some of our neighbors, I got a cousin like this, choosing Trump, we take a page from the right wing and follow them, you know, and maybe dabble with anti-immigrant rhetoric and anti-trans rhetoric and be silent about racial justice and pretend that racial justice isn't economic justice and economic justice isn't racial justice.
Yeah.
Right, and environmental justice and labor justice.
Yes.
There's some that are arguing that we just invisibilize our identities, our struggles, right? And there are those standing here, there are those who are running, there are those in the slate who have a different idea. Those folks, I believe, understand the assignment. Do you understand the assignment? So when I see on one side all the billionaires, and I'm going to name names, people like Bill Ackman, big time MAGA donor, people like Michael Bloomberg, corporations like Grubhub, pouring tens of millions of dollars to one side. You know what two words come to mind? Class solidarity. Right? That's called class solidarity. Because Michael Bloomberg and Bill Ackman, I'm sure they got a lot of differences, but they're able to look past their differences when it comes time for class solidarity. When our movements are strong. That's what I saw during the inauguration, when we saw the richest men in the world, who we know compete with one another. When it came time, they understood the assignment for their class.
That's right.
You know what I see here? Class solidarity. We may love different. We might have different ideas. But when it comes time to stand up for our community, we have class solidarity. And we're where we are. Because they know that the worst thing for them is our victory. They aren't afraid of our ideas. They aren't afraid that our ideas will fail. They are definitely afraid that our ideas will work.
Yeah.
That's why they're spending tens of millions of dollars to prevent this grassroots movement. Am I wrong?
No.
And that's why this slate is so powerful. A multiracial coalition. A coalition with a diversity of ideas. A coalition that agrees on some things and debates on others. All together around the unifying idea that working people in the city deserve a government that works for them, free of corruption, outside of the shadow of DOJ federal charges over its mayor, singularly focused day in and day out on creating a safe, affordable, diverse city that works for all, regardless of income, race, ethnicity, immigration status. Do you believe in that vision?
Yeah.
A city, a government, a mayor that is not afraid to go toe-to-toe with the tyrant that occupies the White House, the haters that have taken over his party, and the billionaires that have paid to cut our services to bankroll their interests. That's why the New York City mayor's race is every bit about the residents of the city and also about the very direction of our country. Which is why the very billionaires that pay for fascism are uniting around Andrew Cuomo. And why everyday New Yorkers must unite with the working families, with all of you, around this slate. And I want to take a moment, because we're brought here by many reasons. We're also brought here because we had a plan, because we had a strategy. And I want to take a moment to recognize two women with a plan, with a strategy, two leaders, whose strategy, whose vision, whose quiet whispering and political work have led us here. Jasmine and Ana Maria, the two who spent the last year patiently organizing to make sure that we can approach this election as a voice of organized people against organized money. And they had this radical idea that we could run a new type of politics where it wasn't about one candidate who spends all their time uniquely talking about how they and they alone will save the city, but instead a diverse mosaic of leadership, demonstrating how we all, our collective leadership, can transform our cities and our communities. Adrian Adams, Brad Andrew, John O'Reilly, Dora Mondani, we represent the very best of us. And a new type of politics that is about solidarity. That's what we deserve. That's what this historical moment deserves. That is what we will win. Today, tomorrow, and on Tuesday. And with that, New York, I'd like to introduce our first speaker. You with us, New York?
Yeah!
So I want to introduce somebody who represents the mighty working people of New York City. There would be no WFP if it wasn't for the labor movement. And we have a very powerful voice and leader in the labor movement. Somebody who is organizing on the front lines that has become a front line of our democracy, our universities, our colleges. So the president of the Professional Staff Congress of Cleveland. Give it up, y'all. I need you to give it up for James.
Start by just thanking Maurice Mitchell. Can you put your hands together for Let's also thank one more time Ana Maria, Jasmine, the entire
Sorry. You're good.
incredible election. I also want to express gratitude to all the candidates, to our co-hosts, council members G. Osei and Crystal Hudson. And of course, to our amazing Attorney General Letitia James.
Yes!
I also need to express admiration and gratitude to all of you, everyone who has put in work, right, to advance this strategy that we are hearing about tonight. A united front of progressives to defeat the establishment candidate. Are you ready to make history?